Hey everyone, welcome to another rendition of Office Hours in the Car with Felicia. So let's start today with a moment of honesty. Have you ever stood in the mirror? Because we're talking about mirror talk this week. Looked yourself in the eye and tried to say, I am confident and capable, and then your brain immediately whispers loudly, no, you're not. Yeah. Me too. That's the, yeah, right feeling that so many of us get when we try to do these positive affirmations. They feel fake. You don't believe yourself. They feel like lies that you're trying to convince yourself of. And the truth is, you're not wrong. The problem isn't that you're bad at doing these affirmations. The problem is that positive thinking is only part of the process. So today I'm going to teach you the other part of the process, the part that has been missing to make this truly meaningful for you in the moment. The part that makes it work, honestly, right? So here's the core principle of what we're exploring actually this whole month of November. And it's inspired by Jenny's bike crash story, which we've mentioned is being featured in our podcast this month as well. So this principle is you can't just put a positive thought on top of a raw wound and expect something good to happen. Your inner critic, that voice that tells you you're not good enough, is like a scared, shouting child, just freaking out, needing your attention. And when we think of this as a child, right, when this child is having that meltdown, we're not going to just whisper, oh, everything's fine, and expect them to stop and calm down. I couldn't even do that for a grown-up, because that leads that person to feel ignored. And we know when kids get ignored, same for adults. We just get louder, right? Our needs just get louder. That critical voice that's in your head is just, let's reframe it for you. That voice is actually a part of you that's trying to protect you. It's afraid, and until you address that fear, no positive thoughts or affirmations are ever going to actually stick. You're stuck in the middle of this shouting match, and the positive thought is like a whisper. Like it's not going to be heard in there. It's going to be swept to the side and be done because everything else is so much louder. So instead of ignoring that voice and trying to whisper over it, we're going to have conflict resolution with it. So this is actually the 3-step framework that we teach. Step 1 is first to just listen, right? Get quiet and acknowledge that fear. Like, we all have this deep set need in us to feel listened to and acknowledged. So don't fight it. You can say in your journal, if you are a writer, or out loud to yourself if you process externally, okay, I hear you. You are really scared right now that I'm going to fail at this. And usually just validating that takes away like 50% of its power. The second step, after we acknowledge it, is where we can go deeper. That voice says it's afraid of failure, but what's under that? This is where I want you to use your intuition and get a read on what the real fear is. Ask yourself, what is this really about? Is it a fear of judgment from other people? Is it a fear of not being loved or accepted? Is it a fear of being forgotten or unseen? I mean, those are real things that we all feel, and sometimes we don't acknowledge them out loud. So if you're stuck, use this tool. This is what I do. Grab your journal and just write, or pull a single tarot or oracle card if that's something that you're into, and ask it, what is my inner critic really trying to protect me from? Get a read on that root fear, not just a symptom. So use the tools that you like, or explore new tools if you're not sure. But usually, if you let yourself access it, it will come out. Your intuition knows and will help you. Okay. So, our third step is to speak your truth. So, once you know the real fear, this is where we can speak the real truth. This isn't a fake affirmation, it is a specific, loving counterscript, is what we're going to call it, right? It speaks directly to the root of your fear, down in here, not just up here. So let me give you some examples. First example is, if the fear is judgment, the truth is, my worth is not determined by other people's opinions. I am safe to be myself. Doesn't that feel much better than some silly affirmation? That's down here. It's not just up here. Another example, if the fear is maybe not being loved, right? The truth is, I am allowed to take up space. I am worthy of love, exactly as I am. These can be hard to say because they are so real and so true to our core. So if you need to practice writing it out first, you need to pretend you're saying it to someone else first, like Jenny talks about in her mirror talk. Pretend someone else is getting you to say it, or pretend you're saying it to someone else, like you're a third party. Do it until it feels good and you believe yourself, because that is what we should be saying to ourselves. And that is what we want to be modeling for our kids as well. So I hope that felt good. And I hope that you can see the difference there of not just being positive, but being a compassionate, intuitive detective for your own heart. You're acknowledging the fear. You're getting a read on what is real for you. And then you're just lovingly speaking the truth. And that is why it's going to finally work for you. So this entire conversation was sparked by Jenny's powerful new solo episode on Mirror Talk. And then by her story of her bike accident that follows up on that. That's being released this month. So the Mirror Talk one is live this week right now on our podcast. And then we dive into the bike talk next week. So I would love to know, what is the truth your inner critic needs to hear most right now? Maybe that's a good way to start, is just let me know. And then it's not quite so direct. So share them in the comments. And feel free to share this with other people who might be struggling too.